Hello and welcome to our first webinar, Initial Setup and Menu Configuration. I'm Carlota, Implementation Specialist for Lightspeed K-Series, and I'll be your guide throughout this video. Let me introduce you to your Lightspeed onboarding journey. Your onboarding is divided into 5 steps described on this page. Today, you are in the first step, which is our webinar number 1, on how to get started with your Lightspeed K-Series software. For more information on your customer journey, please contact the training and support team via the following email address. Here are the different chapters that we will deal with today. First, we will see how to log into your back office. Then we will see how to connect your iPad to your back office. Then we will see how to add and manage your accounting groups, the different ways to create items, how to configure your menu. Then we will set up production instructions, and finally, I will explain how to fill in your import file. You can navigate through the chapters using the description in the video or by scrolling down the progress bar below the video. The first thing to know about the Lightspeed K-Series software is that it's divided into 2 parts. The first part, the one we're going to start with today, is the back office, which is the heart of your system. This is where you will set up the products you want to sell, the menu you want to offer, configuration of your till as well as your hardware, and your reporting. The second part is your till, basically your iPad, your POS, which will simply reflect all the configuration that you have set up on your back office. The aim of this webinar is to getting you used to your back office and teaching you how to complete your import file. The first thing to know about the Lightspeed K-Series software is that it's divided into 2 parts. The first part, the one we're going to start with today, is the back office, which is the heart of your system. This is where you will set up the products you want to sell, the menu you want to offer, configuration of your till as well as your hardware, and your reporting. The second part is your till, basically your iPad, your POS, which will simply reflect all the configuration that you have set up on your back office. Let's start by logging into our back office. To do this, go to the Lightspeed website, lightspeedhq.co.uk. On this page, you will have access to all Lightspeed products, our partners, different kinds of resources, and the Help Center. Feel free to have a look around. Then click on Login on the top right corner. Find our Restaurant K-Series software with the white flame logo on the red background and click on Login. You will be automatically redirected to the login page. If you have already logged in, you can enter your email address and password directly. If this is the first time you have logged in, click on Forgot your password and enter the email address you used when you signed up with Lightspeed. Click on Reset Password. An automatic email will be sent with a link to create your password. Once you have logged in, you will automatically be taken to the first page of your back office. First, you will select the most suitable settings profile for your venue by clicking on Start. Depending on the model you choose, your account will be set up by default to help you get started. Don't worry, you can always change your settings later. Once selected, you will be redirected to your back office configuration guide. This guide is here to guide you through the different steps of setting up your account. Here, we can see that 2 steps have already been completed, the creation of the account and the selection of the business type. If I go to Step 1, Menu Configuration, and click on Menu Management, I will find the different points that we will discuss in this video. Each time a step is validated, you can check the corresponding box. If you click, for example, on the link Configure the accounting groups, you will be directly redirected to the place where to create the accounting groups. Then click on Back to Home page to display your dashboard. You can return to your guide at any time by clicking on Configuration Guide at the top right corner and validate the steps along the way. On our home page in the top right corner, you can find a Help section by clicking on the question mark. This gives you access to useful tools to help you if you have any question about the software. If you click on Documentation, you will be redirected to our Help Center, where you will find all the documentation for the software and step-by-step instruction for making changes. You can also access tutorial videos in English by clicking here. These are sorted into playlists. For example, if I click on the Restaurant Back Office playlist, I will find short videos on different subjects, such as how to create an item, combos, or how to configure your account. By clicking on What's New, you will have access to the latest updates and news about your software. The Help Center also contains a section for comments by clicking here. Here you can give feedback on the software, report bugs in the platform, or request a feature. You will also find the support contact details in the support section. If you have any technical issue during the setup period, such as a router installation, printer or payment terminal not working, you can contact our support team via chat. In blue here, or in the red bubble that you have at the bottom right corner. Please make sure you stay logged into your back office when chatting. For all the other questions during this configuration period, the training and support team will answer your question either by email or during a one-on-one session. On the black left sidebar, you will find different tabs. This is where you will configure your till, manage your menu, view your reports. We will go through these during this webinar. As you know, our main focus is on the back office today, so we need to make sure that your POS is connected to your back office. For that, we need to go first to Configuration, Devices, Connection Codes. In order to connect your iPad, the first thing you need to do is click here to create a new connection code. Please keep it simple, call the code description POS. The only thing that you can change is the code expiration. This doesn't mean that your iPad will be disconnected after that delay. It only means that this code will be valid for that period of time. In this example, if we were to buy a new iPad after 2 months, I would have to create a new connection code because this one would have expired. Once you've created your connection code, to connect your POS now with the back office, download the Lightspeed K-Series app onto your iPad via the App Store. It is the app with the white Lightspeed logo on a red background. Then simply scan the QR code. Once the device is connected, you will see it appearing in the section Devices on your back office, and you can have a look at its current status. Just a quick advice for our next sessions, please have your iPad close by when you work on your back office. Once the import is done, you will be able to see how the menu looks like on the POS. Let's start the configuration of your back office with the accounting groups by going to Menu Management, then Accounting Groups. The accounting groups are crucial in your configuration and are mandatory. But what are they? In Lightspeed, every item have to be attached to an accounting group because thanks to these accounting group, you can manage 3 things. The first thing is taxation, which is the most important. Accounting group together items that share the same VAT. The second thing is printing, because you will assign a production centers to that group, basically where the items from that group are going to print. The third thing is reporting. We advise you to keep it simple and to limit the number of accounting groups as much as possible. In the UK, we usually have cold food, cold drinks, hot drinks, and alcoholic beverages. Let's create a new accounting group together. For example, if I have a printer for hot food and a different printer for cold food, I will have to create 2 different accounting groups for my production orders. Let's create the cold food together. Just click here on Add an accounting group. First thing, enter the name, cold food. If you have the possibility to work with an accounting integration, you can add an accounting reference here. Obviously, that is optional. In tax profile, you have to select the right tax profile for your accounting group. By clicking here in the drop-down menu, you will see a list of the different VAT rates created by default on your account, depending on your country. For our accounting group called Food, we will select the normal VAT but tax exempt when takeaway. If you have any doubts about which VAT rate to apply to your items in your accounting group, feel free to discuss this with your accountant or find information on your government's website to make sure you don't have any changes to do afterwards once you're in production. Next, assign a production center to set up where your items are going to print. Here I will select kitchen. You can assign one or more. Then click on Save. Your accounting group is now created. You can then modify or delete your accounting groups. Do not hesitate to check your VAT rates and to modify your accounting group if necessary before going live. As a reminder, the accounting groups are not visible on your menu. They simply allow you to organize your items so as to assign them to the correct VAT rate, to organize your sales report, and to decide where your items are going to print. We will now have a look at how to set up your menu, which will appear on your till. But before we start on the back office, we'll first take a look at the iPad to show you what it looks like on the till. At Lightspeed, your menu is visible on the iPad, consisting of main screens in the center of your till and buttons on the right side. You can only have a maximum of 20 main screens, so make sure you study the construction of your menu carefully to limit to the essential. In each main screen, you will find buttons that are basically your items that you've added on your back office. We advise you to limit yourself to 20 buttons. You can have up to 36, but the more buttons you have, the smaller they will be, and you will have to scroll down. You also have the possibility to create subscreen to better organize your buttons within a main screen and avoid having too many buttons on one page. Like here, for example, I've created subscreen to sort my wines between red, white, and rosé, and within these colors by sizes. Basically, creating a funnel allows me to find quicker what I'm looking for. Now let's see how to set up our menu in the back office. Still in menu management, then menu. This is where I will be able to manage my menu, add my buttons, or create subscreen to categorize my buttons. Please note that buttons can only be created when items are added to your back office prior to using the menu. On the left-hand side, you will find the main screens that we have in the middle of our cash register. If I click on it, I will find my buttons in the subscreens. If I click on Add in the column of my main screen, I will be able to create a new main screen and define a color, for example. Let's create an alcohol screen with a brown color. My main alcohol screen has now been created. When I am in my screen, I will then be able to modify it if necessary or delete it from my main screen if I want to. By clicking on the Add button on the right-hand side, I can add buttons, create subscreen, or create buttons for my discount production instructions. Let's go back to the example of my main screen, wines. Once I have created my screen, I will be able to create my buttons by going to my items. I go to Add button, then Item. I will then search for my item, select them, and finally click on Add. My buttons are now created. I can modify them at any time by simply clicking on them. Then I can choose the color, change the name of the button. But I can also, by clicking on Select, delete them or move them to another screen or subscreen. I will also have the possibility to sort them alphabetically or to move them in the order I want. Once all my changes are made, I can click on this preview button to see what my menu looks like on my till. This feature is very useful if you have not yet received or connected your iPad. It allows you to start the configuration even if you haven't received your material. You also have the possibility to have an iPod view. As an added bonus, you can navigate through your screens and subscreen. Note that the screens are independent of the accounting groups. It is not because you've created an accounting group that a screen will be created. These are two different things. We will now move on to the main topic of our webinar, items. Click on Menu Management and then Items. On this page, you will be able to manage all of your items. You will also be able to see a list of all the items in the table below. But what is an item? An item is a dish, product, or ingredient that will offer to your customer. It can be a ready meal, a glass of drink, an ingredient as an extra like milk in a coffee. There are three ways to add items in the back office. The first is to add an item in a detailed way. The second is to add an item quickly. And the third is to add several items at the same time. Be careful, once an item is created, it cannot be deleted. You can deactivate it. We will start with the first option, adding an item in detail. Still in Menu Management, Items, click on Add Item. There are three mandatory fields that you must fill in when you create an item. First, the name of the item, then the accounting group, and the price. Indicate the name of the item. This is the name that is going to be displayed on the customer's receipt and the production docket by default. Let's take an example of a ribeye steak. You have the possibility by checking that box to print a different name on the production docket for the kitchen. For example, if the name is too long or if you wish it to appear in a different language. The SKU, which stands for Stock Keeping Unit, is a unique identifier assigned to your item. If you already use one internally, I invite you to indicate it here. Otherwise, you can leave the box empty and the system will randomly allocate a number. You will then choose a price structure for your item by clicking on the arrow in the drop-down menu. The single price is the selling price of your item. Once selected, you can enter the price of your item here. No price. This item has no price. Price forced to 0. The positive open prices allows you to manually enter the price of the item each time you click on the button on the till. Let's take an example on my till, my daily special, which changes price every day of the week. When I select it, the till will automatically ask me to enter the price manually. The negative open price has the same function as the positive open price, but in that case, it will be a negative price. That will be applied on the till, as for example, here on my till, a discount button with a variable negative amount. When I select it, the cash register will automatically ask me to enter negative price manually. The multiple price depends on the account profile. I invite you to watch webinar number 2 on that matter. This means that my item will have a main price with additional prices that can be entered in the fields below. I will first enter the main price and then select my account profile and enter the new price. Each time I switch to takeaway mode, for example, the price of my item will change. For example, if I choose my brownie, which has a retail price of €3, and then select the takeaway account profile on my checkout, it will automatically change to $2.50. The percentage price allows you to apply a service charge. The cost price is the price at which you bought your product. This information can be useful to calculate your margins and see them in your reports. You will then have to choose an accounting group. Each item you create must be linked to an accounting group. As a reminder, an accounting group is a group that defines the VAT of your items, also defines the production center where your items are going to print, and allows you to classify your sales in your report. By default, a first accounting group will always be selected, so don't forget to modify if necessary. Next, the statistical categories. This option allows you to add additional sales statistic details to your reports, grouping items in the same category together, and adding a second level of filter between the accounting groups and your sold items in your reports. For example, if I want to have more detail on what type of red wines I sold in my alcohol department, I will have to create a red wine statistic group within my alcohol accounting group. You will then be able to set up a production instruction allowing you to add a message for your kitchen that will be visible only on the production docket, such as type of cooking for your meat or an allergy to respect. These production instructions are not visible in your report, they do not add any cost to your item, and they do not appear on the customer's receipt. We will see how to manage production instruction in a later chapter on this video. This feature, item to be added as a sub-item, allows you, if you check this box, to create a sub-item that will act as a message or an add-on attached to a previously selected item. For example, on my till, if I want to add a dressing to a salad, I can, for example, select here my Caesar salad and then my dressing. I will be able to see here in my order, my dressing is attached to my salad with an additional cost of 50 cents. Unlike the production instruction, the sub-item will, like the items, be visible in my reports. You can add an extra charge to it if you wish to, and they will appear on the customer's receipt. In the next section, button information, you will be able to customize the display of your button on the iPad. The field name for the button allows you to put a different name than the one displayed on the receipt. If, for example, the name is too long, you can put a shorter one here. If you don't need to change the name, don't click on that box, the system will immediately take the receipt name. You can also choose what color the button will be by selecting one of the colors below. And finally, use the drop-down menu to add the item to a main screen in your menu. In description, you can personalize an item by adding a picture, a description, or allergens. This can be useful for you internally or if you use Order Anywhere. For the picture, you need to add it by clicking on Change Picture, search for it on your computer, and then upload it. You then need to crop the image by clicking on the scissors and then save the picture using the floppy disk here. You can choose a display name for the description, add a description of your item. You can also indicate allergens by choosing the options from the available list. If we have a look on my till, when I press and hold my burger button, the picture and description appear. Don't forget to click on Save to create your item. Now let's see the second way to add an item quickly and without details with the Quick Add button. Click on Menu Management, Item, and then click on Quick Add. Please note that this mode only allows you to create an item in your back office. You will not be able to create a button directly on your menu. You will have to do it manually directly by going into Menu Management, Menu. You must add the name of the item that appears on your receipt, its selling price, and also choose the accounting group thanks to the drop-down menu. If you wish, you can specify a statistical group for your reports. Click on Add Item to import it into your back office. The third option for adding an item to the back office allows you to add several items at the same time. Still in Menu Management Items, click on the small arrow to the right of the Add Item button and select Add Several Items. Here again, you will indicate the name of the item, its price, its accounting group. If the accounting group already exists and you type in the first few letters of the accounting group, the software will suggest it and you can then select it. Otherwise, you can create a new one here. You can also add a statistic group if you wish. In the last option, screen, you can indicate in which main screen you want to add your button. For example, here my wine will go into my main alcohol screen. If you add two hashtags with no space in between, you will be able to create a subscreen to better organize your menu. Like for example, for my wine, if I have a different alcohols, I will be able to add, thanks to the double hashtags, a wine subscreen where I could find my different wines. Click on the plus to add another item to your list. Once a list is made, click on import to add all of your items at once. Once you've created your items, you will be able to find them in the table form on the home page of the items button in menu management, items. You can use the search filter to find and modify a particular item. You can change the price and other values. You can also change the name. However, avoid changing the name of the item when you are live with the system, because for example, if you change the name of your beer that you've been selling for 6 months to shrimp risotto, this will overwrite the previous data you had on your beer in your reports with shrimp risotto. So please create a new item. Now that we have added our items, we can create a combo. A combo is an item that can be modified, such as coffees with types of milk, type of syrups, or pizzas with additional toppings. You can also use combo for set menus with a choice of starter, mains, and dessert for a fixed price, for example. A combo is built from a group of items. Before building a combo, you need to make sure that all the modifiers are added as items on your back office. Also be careful, an item cannot be transformed into a combo and vice versa. Let me show you how a combo looks like on the POS. So if I take, for example, here my coffee, when I click on my latte, I have an example of first choice of size, then a choice of type of milk, and then an optional choice of syrups. I also have an example of a combo for my spirit and mixer with my gin and tonic, where I can choose the type of gin that I want with the type of mixer, type of tonic that I can add. Last example would be my dinner menu, when I have a choice of some starters, some mains, and some dessert for £30. You will see in our second webinar how to actually build a combo, but you need to see what a combo looks like for your import file and make sure that you import all the modifiers as item. To manage production instructions, click on Menu Management, Production Instructions. They are used to add a message related to an item that is displayed on your kitchen or bar dockets. It can be a meat cooking, an ice cream flavor, or a specific allergy to respect. They do not have a price, they do not appear in your reports, and they do not show on the customer's receipt. To add a production instruction, click on Add a production instruction and give it a name such as, for example, flavor. You will then be able to define whether it is a single choice or multiple choice. The multiple choice allows you to choose several values for an item. I can also replace the quantity number by a hashtag on my order by clicking on that box. Then enter the corresponding values such as strawberry, lemon, chocolate, each time clicking on the little plus to add a new value. Then click on Save. When the production instruction is ready, you have two options. The first is to add a button to a main screen in your menu to assign it to any item. You can find the different steps on how to add a button in your menu in the menu chapter. On the other hand, you can link the production instruction directly to an item by going to Edit Your Item and select your production instruction by clicking on the menu below, Add Production Instruction. You can find the steps in the item creation chapter. Let's see how it looks like on my till. When I select, for example, my steak here, a pop-up appears to offer me the different cooking options. I can select my cooking option, and as you can see on the left hand of the screen, underneath my item, I have the cooking option showing linked to my steak. This is how my kitchen will receive the information. In the previous chapters, we have seen how to create items manually in the back office. Now we will see how to add them to the back office and to your POS via an import Excel file. If you attended webinar number 1 live, you will automatically receive this file. If you do not have it yet, you can request it from our training and support team by email. Once you have completed your file, simply email it to our training and support team. We will check and import it for you. Our team will get back to you if they have any questions about your file. If you have any doubts or questions about the file, please feel free to contact us by email or phone, or book a one-on-one session with one of the implementation specialists. Let's take a look at our import Excel file. It is composed of several columns, the heading of which you may recognize. In the first column, we'll find the SKUs. The SKUs is the unique identifier of your item in the back office. Just as when you created an item manually, you have the option of letting the back office generate the SKU for you, or of entering your own SKUs. Be careful, if you create your own SKUs, don't forget to keep it simple, and especially that each SKU is specific to each item. Then the name column. In this column, you will list all the products that you want to create, sell, and offer to your customers, be it drinks, alcohol, food, add-ons, etc. Each item is unique. You can't name an item twice. If you sell, for example, wine by the glass and by the bottle, you will have to create one glass item and one bottle item. Once you've added all your names in the name column, in the next column called selection, you can specify if an item needs to be added as a combo. If we have a look at my example here, my cappuccino and latte, I want them to be added as combo because I want to have the possibility to choose my types of milk and my sizes. So to specify that they need to be added as combo, next to it in the selection column, I've put a star. Be careful, don't put any star next to the modifiers, and make sure the modifiers are added once. Basically, what you need to do is make sure your coffees are added as combo and all your modifiers are added as simple item, so that later on, and you will see that in webinar number 2, you have all the tools available on your back office to build what's inside your combos. In the main price column, you simply enter the sales price including VAT of your product. If you don't know it yet, you can set it up to 0 and change it later in the back office. If you leave the box empty, this will create a positive open price item. The accounting group column. You must absolutely put your item in an accounting group. As a reminder, the accounting groups are groups that will allow you to manage your VAT, the production centers, where your items are going to print, and to see your sales statistics classified by accounting group in your reports. You can use the name of the accounting groups already created on your back office, or you can create new ones. Pay attention to spelling and font when you write your accounting groups in that column. If you write cold drinks with an S and cold drink without an S, or if you write cold drinks in upper cases and cold drinks in lower cases, this will create two different accounting groups when we do the import. So please remember to copy and paste. Let's move on to the screen column. Here you will be able to create main screens in which you can find the buttons representing your items. Let's take the example of my wine again. If I want to see it in my main screen, wine, on my till, I will simply write wine in the column. I will also at the level be able to create my subscreens. For example, I want to classify the wines into two categories, red and white. I will indicate first the main screen wines. Then to create my subscreen red wines, I will simply put after wines 2-time hashtag and write white wines afterwards. Thanks to this, when I import my file, the back office will automatically create my main wine screen on my till, then my red wine subscreen in which I will be able to find my Côtes du Rhône button. Please pay attention to the spelling and font when creating your screens, and don't forget to create a subscreen. You have to put twice a hashtag. Then we have our button name column. This can be useful if you wish to have a different name displayed on your iPad than the one you put on the name column. For example, here in my Chateau Margaux, I feel like this is a long name and I wish to have a shorter one displayed on the iPad. I can put a different one here. If you wish to have exactly the same names as the one you have in the name column, just leave it blank. Then the button color column. Be careful with this one. As you can see on our Excel sheet, we have a second tab here at the bottom where we have the list of all the colors available on Lightspeed. So please, when you choose a button color, make sure you choose it from that list and do not create a new colors. Especially with the color gray. Gray is written with an A, and light red is displayed without any spaces. So please make sure you copy and paste those colors. Then we move on to the statistic group category column, where you can put the more precise, more detailed categories for your reports. This column is not mandatory, but can save you a lot of time for later. And finally, our cost price column, where you can display your cost price. And again, this column isn't mandatory. Thank you for joining me. I hope you found this video helpful. I wish you a lovely rest of your day.